We're back in our play program. Do you remember our OpStop6 program? I had shown you a couple of examples where field data was being moved to a variable. We won't go that far yet. Let's just see if we can find out what's in that OPSTWF file we keep using. But let's not lose what we've done so far. Instead, we'll put our new code after all our pauses. I think it's time to update our note. Let's get rid of this line and let's make our note sample displays to screen of literals. Now let's go to the end of the program and put in another note. This time we're going to do sample displays to screen of fields. Okay. We know we're going to use our pause statement, so I'll key pause. And we may as well specify a location, so I'm going to enter loc 6. And I encourage you to describe what you display on the screen, so we'll put in a literal, contents of field 1. I'm going to put a colon and one space and close the literal. That way, whatever the field is, it won't slam up against our information and we'll be able to read what it is a whole lot easier. Now we want to display field 1, and we do that how? With parentheses around the digit 1. And let's not forget our period. So let's do a couple more. Pause. We'll put this one on line 8. Contents of field. Let's choose field 5. And of course that's 5 in parentheses. One more. Line 10. Contents of field 8. And that's 8 in parentheses. Let's change these two pauses to show statements. That way we won't have to wait and press field release after each one, and we'll get all three items information all at once. Let's write it out. F10W, exit, F10X. Let's parse it. And go execute. Help, help, file functions, execute a file edit, play OPSTWF. Okay. Oops. First we stopped at our hello world. I guess we should have changed that pause to a show. Alright. Press help. And there's our data. Cool. Field 1 has time report summary in it. Field 5 has operator report summary in it. And field 8 has a 5 in it. Whatever that might be. Okay. Can we use this file edit on another file? Let's try it. How about one called fedorg1? Field release, release. We stop at hello world again, press help. Here's the data for this file. We seem to have a 100 in field 1, a 16 in field 5, and it doesn't look like we have anything in field 8. Well, not very interesting, but at least it worked. We stopped at hello world again. Okay, help. Now we have some different data. Field 1 is a whole different number, field 5 has a name in it, and field 8 has some numbers in it. Whoa, what's going on? We stop at hello world again. And now the data's changed again. We finally finished. So what happened? Let's go look at our program and I'll tell you. Release, help, D for file definitions, D for file edit, C for change, and play. Remember that I told you that Unibase executes a program from top to bottom? There's a little more to it than that. Unibase executes the program from beginning to end for each record in a file. OPSTWF only had one record, so when we executed this program from beginning to end, there were no more records, and that's why Unibase stopped executing the program. The file fedorg had more than one record in it. Here's what happens. When Unibase starts to execute a file edit, or an output program, or a sort, the first record of the first file is retrieved. It's presented to the program. This program executes all these show statements and stops at this pause for the operator to admire our work and tell us to go on by pressing the help key. When he does, the program executes these two show statements and stops for the operator to look at the fields we displayed. When the operator presses help, we're at the end of the program. What does Unibase do? It releases the first record in the file, retrieves the second record, and starts at the beginning of the program again. That's why we kept stopping at our Hello World pause statement, and why we kept seeing different data. Each set of field contents was for one of the records in the file. Do you remember how many times we saw different field data? It was 3 times, because there are 3 records in the fedorg file. Wow! Let's go try this on some other files. Before we do, let's learn another verb, go to, and also what a label is, so we can eliminate all these literals splattered all over the screen, but still keep our sample code. Our program flows from beginning to end, top to bottom, unless code in the program changes that flow. A go-to statement, spelled as one word, says don't continue in this direction, go somewhere else. Doesn't even say sometimes with the conditional, just go. So right here we'll type in go to. And where shall we go? We want the program to start executing right here, right before our other show statements. That way we keep our code up here for future reference, but we don't execute this part of it for now. So we have to put a label at this point in the code. A label in AID has the same syntax rules as a variable, except that the label name always starts with an exclamation point. That's how you tell it's not a variable. Other than that, the label name starts with an alpha character, can have numerics as well as alpha after the first character, can be up to 32 characters in length, and the only punctuation allowed is an underscore. We'll make our go-to statement be go-to exclamation point next one, and we'll put a period here. And down here we'll put in our label next one again. Now we don't put periods after the labels in AID programming, but I like to put a comma after it, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I think it improves the readability, and second, I can search for the label very quickly. If I just search on next one, I'm going to stop here and also here. If I search on next one comma, the only place I stop is here. It doesn't seem worth it for short programs, but for long ones you can have many statements that go to a particular label, but only one occurrence of the label. Now let's write this out, F10W, exit, F10X, parse it, and go try it on a couple of other files. File functions, execute, play, and let's try a file called BESTDGL1 and release. Okay, field 1 has BW Fredericksburg, field 5 has a 5-digit number, there's nothing in field 8. I press help, and now we have BW Mountain View, another 5-digit number, a 4-digit number. That's the second time. There's the third one, and the fourth one, and the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and we're through. So this particular file had 8 records, and if we had looked, we'd have seen ahead of time it sure does. Let's try another one. Our field edit again, and file test 001. We only have 1 record in it, but that's okay. We'll still see what's in the record. Uh-oh. Unibase gave us an error. First it gave us field 1, field 5, put out the contents of field 8, which is the literal, and then it says we have an invalid field number, and quitting. Fatal error. This tells us that this particular file doesn't have 8 fields in it because we got an invalid number. Okay, at least we learned something out of that too. And because it got an error, it follows up with this message, can't execute file edit. We could learn a lot more about verbs in our play file edit, and we'll do so in future lessons. But let's switch gears for a moment and see if we've learned enough to write the output programs for our play record format and standard job. Do you remember those?